And ask that you please rise and say with us the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We have a little bit of housekeeping that we need to do before we get started. First of all, our next meeting will be September the 7th, which is our next regularly scheduled meeting would be September 7th, which is Labor Day. Of course, we won't be having a meeting then. And then on our next meeting after that, the third Monday of September, September 21st, we will be changing our meeting date to 5:30. The city is trying very hard to get everyone to all of the regular meetings to meet at the same time. And so rather than meeting at 6 o'clock, we will be moving our meeting time to 5:30, and we invite all of you to join us then. Mr. Summers, if you would, please call the roll.
Benberry, Mr. Bradford.
Here.
Mr. Morrison.
Here.
Ms. Schramke.
Here.
Mr. Shadle.
Here.
Mr. Wade.
Here.
Chair Crecilius.
Here. Mr. Morrison, you have the minutes motion?
Yes, ma'am. I move that the reading of the minutes for July 20th, 2015 be waived and that the minutes of said meeting as prepared by the secretary be approved as written.
Second.
Second by Wade. Corrections, changes? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Morrison.
Aye.
Ms. Schramke.
Aye.
Mr. Shadle.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Bradford.
Aye.
Chair Crecilius.
Aye. Mr. Shadle, you have the zoning text amendment.
Yes, I do. I move that a resolution entitled "A Resolution Constituting the Final Report of the Paducah Planning Commission on the Proposed Text Amendment of the Paducah Zoning Ordinance by amending Section 126-76 Sign Regulations" be adopted.
Second.
Second by Schramke. Would you like to give us some background, Mr. Summer?
Sure. This request come from Mount Kenton Cemetery, and we currently have no regulations in place to allow for cemetery signage in residential zones. We got to looking, and not just Mount Kenton, but Temple Israel, Maple Lawn, Oak Grove, those are all in R2 or R3 zones. And we currently don't have any way to allow for signage, and this zoning text amendment is to allow for them to have up to a 48 square foot sign, and allow a way to do that once that's approved through City Commission.
Does anyone have any comment on this text amendment? Please step up to the podium. Give us your name, please.
I'm Ralph Young, and I'm the treasurer of Mount Kenton Cemetery. That's the cemetery that's located across from Kmart. It's been around for 150 years. And the perception in the community is that the cemetery is full. And so we came up with the idea that, gee, wouldn't it be nice to have a sign there saying space available, or some, nice way of putting it. And then when we researched it, we found out that, the zoning ordinances didn't allow that. So we talked to somebody, and we're going to put up we would like to put up a sign there saying this space is available, or grave spaces are available, that kind of thing. So I think it's a routine change, and we hope that it'll be tasteful enough and not add to the sign craziness that's on Lone Oak Road right now.
Now, are we discussing what type of sign in addition to the size of the sign? I mean,
No,
is it a monument type sign, or is this a
Well, the only thing,
electronic sign? I mean, what are we talking about?
no, electronic message signs are not allowed in the residential zone.
Okay,
So it can be
I didn't
lit.
think so.
Right, it can be lit, but not an electronic message sign.
We weren't going for that.
Good.
I would hope.
Thank you.
Really?
You just want to put up a little graphic
Very
sign
clear.
and be as tasteful as possible.
I'm assuming that you're probably going to try to keep it pretty low to the ground, not a big, tall sign.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, the traffic that's going up and down Lone Oak Road that sees that cemetery, I mean, that's a perfect way to advertise.
Will you have it at the entrance, or will you have it, I know that there's quite a long piece that runs down Lone Oak
Yeah.
Road.
In
And
one
that is-
scenario, we were looking at two signs, one that would be opposite that Bleach Road, so that people that stopped there would see something,
Yes.
and then maybe at the main entrance, just past Subways, so that people coming up to that stoplight would see something also. So two signs, just kind of depends on what we can afford.
Or could it be a two-sided sign?
Yeah, we were looking at a V sign there at Bleach Road. So
Ralph, how many acres do you have there?
it's like 30 acres, but about 15 or 20 is undeveloped.
That's in the back part.
It goes all the way to Friendship Road. And so we're waiting for that Friendship Road development to happen, whenever that is in 2 years, because they're going to take a corner of that cemetery. And I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. It's part of that, the bypass road or whatever that they're going to do for Friendship Road to get rid of that terrible curve. And so they're going to take a corner of the cemetery, and so there'll be some splitting of lots and that kind of thing in the very back. So hopefully that'll happen in the next couple of years.
Josh, the staff report says that that's an R2 zone, but can you give us any more details about where the zone lines are in there? Because that stretch of road is primarily commercial.
Right. The R2 zone encompasses both the cemeteries, all of Indian Hills and all of Jonquilon, with the exception of the subway that sits right outside the cemetery entrance. And then farther down as you go south, where the marketplace is, where Pizza Hut was, and in that area, that's where the highway business district picks back up, is on the south side of the cemetery.
So what happened with the subway? Was that I'm sure that was a recent zoning change since that subway's fairly new.
Actually, the highway business district's been there for a while.
Okay.
At least 1972 or 4, somewhere
Okay.
in that neighborhood.
Josh, was that the subway, what zone, is that county?
No, that's in the city. It's how, just that parcel that Subway sits on is highway,
It's highway
business
business.
district.
Oh, I figured, yeah.
So all we're doing here is we're adding the cemeteries to 2 sections
Yes.
to basically clean up something we pretty should have done a long time
That's
ago.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think people probably weren't aware that it wasn't in the sign ordinance, so.
So we're doing a good thing.
Typically, whenever we discover things like this, we try to fix them.
Exactly.
Well, it seems to me like there'll be no impact on the road whatsoever because immediately before and immediately after are businesses that have signs.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, and we appreciate you not putting the sign up first and then coming and asking.
Yes. That's always preferable.
We have that every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any other comments? Thank you.
Thanks.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Shadle,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Bradford,
Aye.
Mr. Morrison,
Aye.
Ms. Shramky,
Aye.
Chair Crecilius.
Aye. Ms. Schramke, you have the zoning text amendment on the landscape regulations, please.
Thank you. I move that a resolution entitled, "A Resolution Constituting the Final Report of the Paducah Planning Commission on the Proposed Text Amendment of the Paducah Zoning Ordinance by amending Section 126-83 Landscape Regulations," be adopted.
Second?
Second by Shadle.
A little bit of background on this text amendment is that currently in the city on corner lots, your front yard or for fences and walls and stuff like that can be 4 feet. On the sides, it's 6, and in the rear yard, it's 8. In Fountain Avenue, we had a regulation in place that said if you're on a corner lot, you're supposed to have considered to have 2 front yards for the purposes of fence, meaning 4 feet on the side streets. However, that is not enforceable because it's not in the actual zoning ordinance, just in the design guidelines. So, staff, meaning Steve and I, talked about it, and the only really way that we can get that enforceability, and plus to help everywhere else in the city out too with view sheds, is to enact it across the entire city. So that's what we've done, is that if you're on a corner lot, or if you're in a house in a commercial zone or industrial zone, then your side streets, your fences and walls can only go up to 4 feet.
Is anyone in violation of that?
I'm sure.
Currently.
Well, Yes, I would, but on Madison.
But any of those would be grandfathered in and not
Yes.
affected. This
That
would be
was my
for
next-
future.
If they changed it, if they put up a new
Well-
fence or a new wall, then that would be.
And I'm thinking of subdivision I live in. I mean, that fence is higher than 4 feet along Perkins Creek and along,
Well,
why would that be?
Right, those houses face interior toward Legends, and their rear yard is actually along Perkins Creek.
Oh, okay, okay.
Any other comments, questions? Call the roll, please.
Thank you. Ms. Shramky?
Aye.
Mr. Shadle?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Bradford?
Aye.
Mr. Morrison?
Aye.
Chair Crecilius?
Aye. If there is no other business to come before the commission, we had one other item that was on our original agenda, but it has been pulled. And if there is no other business, we will stand adjourned.